Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I realized I hadn't done like a favorites video in a really long time. I think the last one I did was in the old apartment, so that must have been ages ago. So I figured I'd sit down and show you the favorites that I have had in the past couple of months. By the past couple of months I really mean August through now or something. A lot of these will be eyeshadow palettes, or at least a couple of them, just because it seems like I've been on a binge of buying new eyeshadow palettes. I think this has been the thing for me this year, just buying new eyeshadow palettes. I don't know what it is. Before I start with the actual makeup, I actually wanted to talk about something that I never really mentioned on my channel, and that is because I am the worst when describing scents. So let me show you what I mean. I wanted to show you these two perfumes that have been my favorites. They are both from Marc Jacobs. This one is called Honey, and it has the cutest, most adorable packaging. And this one, just as beautiful packaging wise, is Daisy Dream. This one is an actual eau de perfume and this one is an eau de toilette. So I really love both of these, and like I said, I am literally the worst person when it comes to describing scents. For instance, I'll pick up a perfume and I'll think that it smells like a lily of the valley, and then I'll read about the pyramid. Yes, I know, terms like pyramid. I can't describe scents, but I do know the term pyramid when it comes to perfume. And I'll read about the actual notes of the perfume and I'll find out that there's no lily of the valley in there. So, like I said, the worst. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you why I like these perfumes and yeah, a little bit about how they last on me. So this one here, and I'm going to just read from the internet the notes this perfume has. So Honey has as top notes pear, mandarin, orange and punch. Middle notes are honeysuckle, orange, blossom and peach, and the base notes are honey, vanilla and woodsy notes. And the reason I love this perfume so much is because I am a huge fan of anything honey. I put honey in my tea, I put honey in anything that you can put honey in, I love it. And this really does have a very like sweet honeysuckle taste to it, and the vanilla just makes it all the better because I love vanilla as well. The only thing I will mention is that this doesn't last very long on my skin, which is why I'm going to spritz myself a bit more right now because I'm going out in a bit and I need to smell nice. So like I said, beautiful packaging, lovely scent. The only thing is it doesn't last very long on me, which is not the case for this one over here, which is Daisy Dream. So let me find out what the notes of Daisy Dream are, because Daisy Dream is a fruity mixture of blackberry, pear and grapefruit. So again, we have pear, apparently I have a thing for the pear, and the heart includes flowers of blue, wisteria, jasmine and fresh lychee. And the base is made of strong blonde woods. Whatever the fuck that means, I don't know. Anyway, what I wanted to say about this one is much stronger and somehow much sweeter than Honey, but it lasts like nobody's business on my skin. If I put it in the morning, in the evening before I take a shower, I can still feel it right here. So this one lasts really long, and I really enjoy the packaging and everything about both perfumes. Okay, and now we can move on to the makeup portion of this video, because the rest is just makeup favorites, quite honestly. And I want to talk about the old, rediscovered indie favorite, excuse me, and that is the shade Trepanation from My Pretty Zombie. This is, in my opinion, the most beautiful neutral with a twist. It's just so impactful and so gorgeous, and this is how it looks like in the jar. It looks a little bit unassuming and like not very exciting, but let me try to swatch it for you. So this is a swatch here of Trepanation, and I'm not quite sure you will be able to see just how glowy and beautiful it is. It has like a beige base and the most beautiful green shift to it, and when you put it on your eyelids it really pops. If you are looking for like a beautiful eyeshadow that is not too crazy but it is a duochrome, I think Trepanation from My Pretty Zombie is an excellent choice for that. These are the two new Inglot gel liners in the shades 63 and 65. My understanding is that they are new and they are part of the fall release of Inglot, and they are the most gorgeous fall colors that you can imagine. One of them is an absolutely stunning like ox blood red, and the other one is like a pumpkin orange. Really beautiful, both of them. I adore Inglot gel liners, and I'm more than happy to add these guys to my collection. I'm actually wearing the red one today on my eyeballs. I want to give a quick shout out to this Physicians Formula 2-in-1 Eye Booster in the shape, I want to say deep brown. Yeah, it is deep brown. You know, sometimes when you're tired of black eyeliner and you just want a nice deep brown that doesn't look black, this is it. So first of all, I want to say I love the fine tip of these guys. It's a brush tip, it's not a felt tip, which I love. And let me try to swatch this for you. You see how it's a deep brown, but it doesn't look black? That's also, if you put it on your eyes, it looks brown and it's just, it gives that depth, but it's not black. And sometimes, you know, you just don't want to use black all the time. Okay, speaking of eyeliners, I cannot not mention my glitter liners from Urban Decay. Those are the heavy metal glitter liners. The shades that I have are Distortion, Midnight Cowboy, and then we have here Amp and Spandex. And they just recently released a bunch of new shades for their Christmas collection, and as soon as those are available around here, I'm going to grab Grind, and I want to say, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a really stunning, like, greenish, purplish sort of duo, I don't know. But these are awesome. If you want to add, like, really easy glitter to your looks, these are the, I don't know, the most foolproof way I can think of adding glitter to your look without making a mess, putting it strategically where you want, because they have this really, let me show you. I'm just going to swatch Distortion because it's one of my favorites. They have this really fine tip, brush tip liner, I don't know whether you can see, like this, and then you can apply just a nice thin line. I'm going to apply it over the brown eyeliner just so you can see it a little bit better maybe. I'd have to say that from the 4 that I have, if you want to go with something a little more universal, I would recommend Distortion and Midnight Cowboy, especially Midnight Cowboy, because it goes with just so many looks. They're awesome, I love them. To remain on kind of the topic of the eye-related products, I cannot not mention also my Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, which, I don't know guys, I know that it's a very, not boring, but it's like not a very exciting palette, but at the same time I feel like it is maybe the best palette released this year, personally for me. So these are the shades. I surprisingly have to say that my favorite shade in this palette is turning out to be this one over here, which is called Amber. It looks really unassuming in the pan, but when you put it on your eyelids, it's the most gorgeous, like chocolate brown. And I feel like because it has a very like strong red tones to it, it really plays well with like my eye color, and oh, it's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. These shades look very beautiful on the eye. They blend very well as far as the mattes go. The shimmer supply really stunningly on your eyelids, and they have a lot of impact. So yeah, I love this palette. I use it all the time. It definitely needed to be in my favorites. The next two are both from Anastasia and are fairly new releases. These are the, let me take them out of their homes so that I can show you. I feel like a broken record because I've talked about Anastasia palettes for like my past 3 videos, I feel like. But since this is a favorites video and these have been my favorites, I really cannot not mention them. Those are the Subculture and Prism palettes. The Subculture is a like summer release and Prism is their holiday release. Just in case you forgot, this is how the Subculture looks like. I'm not going to repeat myself too much because I already spoke about this palette in my tutorial and thoughts. I adore this palette. I don't see the controversy. I think that it's just a matter of how you approach makeup, and apparently the way I approach makeup works out well for me in regards to this palette because I absolutely adore it. Prism, on the other hand, is not too hard to use. It is a very unique combination of colors in my opinion, and I absolutely love using this palette as well. I really enjoy the neutrals, I really enjoyed like the deeper shades. The Mention over here is a very interesting shade. Like I said, if you are curious about these palettes, I would highly recommend checking out the tutorials that I did with them because that would tell you a lot more than just simple words. Speaking of product that I have mentioned before, but it remains my absolute favorite, this is my absolute favorite highlighter anything released this year, and that is the Aurora Glow Kit. It looks like this. I've shown this before, I've talked about it before. It is absolutely stunning. I use it all the time, especially this shade over here called Lyra and this one over here called Eclipse. I adore these. I use them all the time. The only thing I would say is that you do need to have a specific type of brush to apply these well. If your brush is too soft, then you're going to be applying mostly glitter and you might not really enjoy using these so much. So I would say look for a brush which has very like stiff bristles so that it picks up the product well. But this palette and I got a thing going on. Speaking of Anastasia, this is the last product that I'm going to mention from them, and that is the lip gloss in the shade Vintage. I've never been much of a lip gloss person just because lip glosses are sticky, they bleed all over the place, they fade away really quickly. There's like a bunch of reasons I don't like lip glosses. I love the formula on this. It is not sticky. It looks really beautiful on the lips. This color in particular, Vintage, I feel like would look really beautiful on anyone and everyone. It is the most beautiful, I don't know, like a dusty rose, and it has very beautiful pink micro shimmer through it. I love wearing this lip gloss over top of Backtalk from Urban Decay. Even though the formula on this is gorgeous and I highly recommend it, I still would never buy the darker colors because they would definitely bleed into my lip lines. So as far as lip gloss goes, I would definitely recommend picking up something as neutral as this so that you can pull it off and you can still have that beautiful glossy effect, but it doesn't make a mess all over your face. Alright. Sticking with the lip products, I have just one more to mention, and that is kind of like a rediscovered favorite. This is my very first lipstick from Urban Decay, and it also comes in the older packaging. This is the Revolution lipstick packaging. This is in the shade Temper, and I recently started using this lipstick again, and I had forgotten what a gorgeous color it is. Let me quickly swatch this for you. Look how gorgeous. It is like a very orange-based red. It has the most beautiful, comfortable, long-lasting formula, and I have been wearing this lipstick quite a bit lately. So, new old favorite. Don't know if I've mentioned this mascara before, I don't think so, but this is the Kiko Extra Sculpt Mascara. It comes in this really funky packaging, and it has a really huge brush applicator. So, which is like kind of like an hourglass shape. I must say I'm not very fond of this really like fat part here in the front because it's very hard to get into your inner part of the eye. But with that being said, the formula on this is incredible. It gives me length, it gives me volume, it's very easy to take off, and it is very affordable. So as far as mascara goes, this is my new favorite. Highly recommend if you have Kiko around you. It's also kind of like an old new favorite, and that is my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in the shade 2-in-1 Desert Sand, I think it's called. Oh no, Desert Beige, excuse me. Don't know whether you can see it. The only thing I really hate about this foundation is that it doesn't come with a pump, so you have to pour it on your hand. For a while there, this foundation wasn't working for me, but then I found out that I was just using too much. Because with this foundation, better to use less than too much, because if it's too much then it's going to cake up. Since I started using it again, I've also discovered that I don't need to use a primer with this foundation, and for that matter also with the Double Wear Light, which you know is one of my favorites as well. I've just found out that with or without primer these foundations look absolutely flawless and they last the same amount of time, so I've decided that from now on I'm not going to be buying primer, I'm just going to invest in buying this beautiful foundation because it just works for me. And the last product I want to mention was one of the summer releases from Makeup Geek, and those were their bronze lusters. The one that I got is in the shade Sunkissed. Now, when I first opened the product, I was really scared that this is not going to work out for me because it is very light. However, I don't know whether you can see the dip I've already made in it, and I've only had it since, I want to say June or something. This is also the bronzer that I'm wearing today. It has a beautiful undertones to it, a little bit yellowy, I want to say, a little bit mustardy, and I seem to really enjoy that in bronzers. This is the swatch for it right here. It's not a flat matte, it's not shimmery, it has a bit of sheen to it, which I really enjoy, and I've been loving using this bronzer all summer long. So I highly recommend checking the Bronze Lusters. Okay, lovely folk, I think this is enough favorites for the time being. So these are the products that I've been enjoying in the past couple 8 months. I will probably do another one of these videos around the end of the year, just because I don't really... I mean, I buy a lot of products, but it takes some time until I figure out what's a favorite and what isn't, and sometimes things that I have kind of been under the radar come up as favorites later on, so these things always change for me. Let's stop rambling. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and the likes, and I will see you in my next video.